5,000 women in England will be offered at-home smear tests in a bid to encourage more people to get checked.
The NHS trial follows mounting concerns about the uptake of cervical cancer screening, with the latest figures showing that it's reached a record low amongst women over the age of 50.
Well, Dr Nighat is joining us now to explain more about the trial before taking us through the rest of today's health headlines. So, I mean, this is quite a move forward, isn't it, to be able to do this at home? How does it work?
Morning. I need to clarify that this isn't actually a smear test. This is actually a test to pick up HPV, which is one of the viruses that we know can lead on to cervical cancer. So it's like this, you get a swab through the post for you. And this is actually done by U-Screen for NHS England, because historically we know that women don't actually sometimes take up the offer to have their smear at the right time. And to have a smear, what we do is we pick up the cervical cell changes very early, because we can pick up cervical cancer. Now, cervical cancer is the 14th most commonest cancer in the UK. About 850 women die of this tragic cancer as well. And this is something that's preventable. The World Health Organization not too long ago said that no woman should have to die from cervical cancer because it's so easily picked up. So the way you do it is you get something like this through the post. It comes as a swab. You put it, you part the lips on your vulva. You put it up the vagina, up to the red line. I think you can show it clearly where you've got it, Holly. Perfect, brilliant, that's it. And that's where you take it. You then rotate it for 20 seconds and you pop it back into the pot and it goes into a little box like this, and you pop it into the post and the results come through. There are two HPV, human papillomavirus, that we know that can cause cell changes, and that is HPV 16 and HPV 18. And it's trying to pick those up. But in women then who are found to have these HPV virus, then go on to have a proper smear. Now, a smear test is when you go and see the doctor or the nurse at your practice, and we put something like this in, which is a speculum. We open the speculum up, and we use a special brush, which looks like this. We pop it on the inside. We go to the neck of the womb, which is a cervix. We rotate, take your cells, and then we pop it into a very special solution that then goes to the lab. And this is the gold standard test. This test hasn't changed. So although the headlines are fantastic and they sound really interesting that you can do your own smear test, it's not actually true. What it is just picking up those early changes, because even if we can pick up HPV, we can then make sure that we can support women through that and hopefully drive down the numbers, as well as, you know, we've got the other measures in place, such as the HPV vaccine, which is offered to boys and girls around the age of 12 and 13. Sorry, that's a very long explanation.
That's all right, not at all. It's a very important one. Let's nick on to the next one now. COVID vaccine sprays and pills could be next. This is Sarah Gilbert, the professor behind the Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. She was the one that had the foresight to build the foundation for this that could be adapted when what we're facing now came clear, and they could adapt that. But they're constantly working, these amazing scientists, that there could be a pill or a spray.
That doesn't surprise me at all. And I think it should be, because we do know that lots of people have needle phobia, and that could be one of the stumbling blocks in order to not get your vaccine. We already have a nasal spray for the flu vaccine, children. That's how we vaccinate them. And as we need to get on top of this virus, because we're going to be living with this virus, but the idea is that we don't want people to become severely ill from it, which means that they need hospitalization. In order to prevent that, we need to get more people vaccinated. How can we do that? Well, we need to maybe look at the ways that we give it. So a nasal spray or tablet doesn't surprise me. It'd be fantastic if we can do that.
What about flu? Is it true there's not been a single case of flu detected this year?
Yeah, this is something actually not too long ago I was talking with a colleague of mine, because the other thing that we haven't detected very much is norovirus, so the common sort of sickness and diarrhea at this time. Now, it could be because we're washing our hands a lot more, face coverings. If we look at Japan and China and our Eastern counterparts, they've been wearing face masks because they've had MERS and SARS, and so they know how to deal with viruses. We were always slightly slow on the uptake, and we know that actually being in physical contact with each other are other ways to stop the virus, and being in lockdown means that we haven't been able to do that. There are cynics out there that are saying actually it could be that flu's been counted as coronavirus instead, But remember, we did have a massive vaccination program around flu. 20 million more people were vaccinated. This was the biggest flu vaccination program. And more people took up the flu vaccine this year than ever before. So I think a combination of those factors, which just shows us we should have been trying to tackle flu much, much better before even this pandemic hit.
One of those myths, and we've talked about this so many times over the years, about statins, if you are taking these cholesterol-lowering pills, that people said, oh, they give me aches and pains. Big newspaper headlines, statins give you aches and pains. Not true.
Oh, yeah, this is a new study that shows that maybe it's not, because when they've given people the placebo, which is like a sugar pill, and then the actual statin, there's been no difference in the aches and pains. In fact, even the group that had the placebo said that they had aches and pains. This is a common stumbling block, which I find in general practice. A lot of my patients will come in and say, and they are genuinely, absolutely true, some of them do have aches and pains. Coenzyme A is a great way of counteracting that, which is sort of a vitamin replacement. And we know that there are certain ethnicity groups that do feel aches and pains more. So rovastatin is sometimes better for those from the ethnic background who have a higher risk of cardiovascular disease and a higher risk of high cholesterol as well. And this is a preventative treatment for any complications. But this is actually reassuring for me as a GP to be able to counsel my patient who says, look, I don't want to have statins because it causes me aches and pains. And I can say, haha, actually, there is a study that shows that this isn't. Let's try it and see if this works. If not, there are other combinations that we can give you. At the end of the day, for me, compliance is so much more important. And these studies, they're small. There could be others that counteract that. So I'm still going to carry on practicing by making sure my patient is at the centre of my care.
Dr Nighat, thank you. Good to see you.